how do you capture a loose horse or mule or other equine if they are not in a confined space? Right now I'm in a pen, so I have a little bit of control. This horse is not going to go running out of my sphere of command, but I have no control over him. So I have a commercial halter. This is a halter. This is a commercial lead rope. They're attached by a really solid brass snap. If you're lucky, you'll have this type of equipment available. If you're not, I'm going to show you how to do this very same maneuver using a piece of rope or webbing that almost anybody might have available. So first, a little bit about safety. How do I approach this animal? Well, right now he's eating, he's calm, but he's not looking at me. He's really not paying too much attention. His head is down, his ears are inside the manger, meaning he doesn't know where I am, and he can't hear me too well. He keeps turning around and looking at me, so I feel reasonably certain he's aware that I'm here, but he's more interested in that food. I need to put this halter on him. Normally, when you're approaching domestic equines, you want to approach them from their left side. Historically, that's the side they're accustomed to being approached. It goes way back to medieval times and instruments of battle and warfare, and the way horses were approached and mounted and where swords were. But I really don't want to get myself between that horse and the fence, because that would put me in a dangerous position. So what I'm going to do first is get him to try to move away from the food, not easy, so that I get more of a safe zone, a bigger safe zone between myself, the horse, and that fence. Hey, boy. Good boy. A lot of horses respond just to your body language. I'm also going to try making a little smacking sound or kissing sound just to see if I can't get him to move away from the food. Good boy. Just a little body language. Now he's moving away. I'm going to see if I can get him to follow me. I'm asking him to move away from food, so that's not easy. Oh boy. Good boy. Whoa. Okay, now I have him in a better place. I can approach this horse now with a lot more safety. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this halter, which is still latched. I'm going to put the halter over my right shoulder, and I have the rope in my hand. Notice that my lead rope is stacked. It's not coiled. So my hand cannot get caught in a loop. If anything happens, I just let go and drop it. So, stacked rope in my left hand, halter on my right shoulder. What I'm going to do first is try to get control of this horse by just capturing him with the rope. All right, I can now approach this horse safely from the left side, which is the side I want to approach him from. I've got lots of safe space out in front of him. He's eating, but he's also looking at me, so I'm pretty confident I'm not going to spook him. He's not going to make any sudden moves. So first thing I want to do is I want to gain control of him using my rope before I put the halter on. Oh, whoa, boy. That's good. He's looking at me. He knows where I'm at. I'm going to approach him from his shoulder. And I'm going to take the rope and just very, very, very gently and quietly get it over his neck. And bingo, I have control. Now he's totally focused on this hay. I'm going to let him have a little bit. But now we're going to take him away from the food. But you see, whichever way he goes, I now have a little bit of control. Yet if anything goes wrong, all I have to do is just let it go, and I'm safe, and I can move out of the way. So that's step number one. Gain control with whatever you have. Just make sure you have enough space between you and that animal that you can get away quickly and you're not attached. So let's try that again. Oh, Sonny. Notice I'm approaching him from his shoulder. He can hear me, he can see me, even when his head's in the manger. Rope over his neck. I've got him. Now I can get him over here. Little tug. Whoa. Perfect. All right, now I have to transfer control from the rope to the halter. So how am I going to do that? Well, first, I'm going to Transfer the rope from my right hand to my left hand. Take the halter, unlatch it. Now I have to get this halter under his neck and over the top of his head. So notice how I did that. The rope's still on him. See that? I was able to grab him, bring him right back to where I want him. Halter is unattached. 2 parts. This is the part that's going to go over his head. This is the part that's going to stay near me and latch. And this is the part that his nose is going to go through. So I've got the rope. I'm going to reach over, let go for just a moment, but keep my hand right here on top of his head, just behind his ears. This is a point of contact. I have control, but I'm out of harm's way. If he moves his head back and forth, or he slings it around to get to a fly like he wants to do right now, I can get out of the way quickly. I'm not going to get hit by that head. At the same time, he likes being scratched there. It's just like scratching your dog behind his ears, okay? That feels good. So I have control, keeping my hand there, just going to come around. And do you see what he did? You see how he dipped his nose right into that noseband? Horses that are used to being handled a lot will usually do that. So they'll do half the work for you. Your job is to maintain control, keep your hand, and I kind of have my arm on him, but you see how far away I am? If you're in your turnout, if you're wearing a big helmet, you're going to need space between you and that animal. You want to maintain control, but keep yourself out of harm's way. So let's do that again. My hand's up here. I've got secure hold of the halter. Going to just drop the noseband down, slide his nose right through it, and secure it. You want to err on the side of too tight rather than too loose. And here is a really important thing to remember when you're putting a halter on an equine. Horses and mules are obligate nose breathers. They cannot breathe through their mouths. So if you let this noseband slip down over his nostrils, you're now constricting his airway, you're constricting his breathing, and you're also hurting him. So let's do that one more time. Because he's being very cooperative. I got him. He wants that food, but I've got him. Why do I have him? Because I have this rope loosely around his neck. If something quick happens, I just let it go, and we're all good, and we start over again. But I can keep him where I want him. I have him. I can move him a little bit. I can walk him a little bit if I need to. Whoa. But I want to get that halter on him. So, halter's in my left hand. Bring it under his neck. Bring my arm around. Maintain contact at all times. Let it drop down. He helped me out by dipping his nose into it. Just going to bring that up. Secure it. I'm on the next to the last hole here. I'm going to make sure it's centered so it's nice and balanced over the bridge of his nose. We're not covering up his nostrils. And I want also to point out my position during this entire maneuver. At all times, I have my right shoulder toward this horse, and he is never out of my line of sight. He can see me, but I can see him. At no time am I turning my back to him. Why? Because once I'm in this position, I can't see anything that he's doing. I can't tell what's going to happen. I want to be here at all times so that I can move away from him. Okay, now I got him. Halter's secure. Get my rope. Stack it, don't coil it. He wants that hay. So how much space do I need between my hand and his chin? Well, ideally, I like to have about 8 inches to 12 inches, but right now he really wants to get to that hay, so I'm going to keep my hand a little closer to him. But I'm never, ever going to do this because that might make him feel threatened. Right now, he's feeling pretty safe. All he wants to do is get to that food. But if we were in a scary situation and my hand is here and he jumps, I cannot get out of the way quickly enough. My hand could get injured. So I'm much better off having a little bit more space. If I have to let go and get out of the way, I can. Right now, all I really want to do is just get him away from that food. So I'm going to snug up on it a little bit, move him away, and then we're ready to go. All right, now I've got this horse and I need to take him someplace. Right now we're in a pen. It could be a typical pen at a boarding facility, at someone's ranch, or maybe at the fairgrounds, but I need to get him out of here. So I've got him. I'm going to approach the gate. I want to make sure that he's not going to crowd me and run over the top of me. So I do have my hand a little bit closer to the halter because he's trying to get through this gate right now. I want him to stop right there. Hopefully you'll have someone to partner with you who will be on safety and will be at that gate. But if you don't, just make sure that you know where that animal is at all times when you approach the gate. Get the gate open, move it away from you so that you aren't trapped inside. Make sure you have control of that horse. I like to back him up a little bit if I can with a little bump. Now this is a narrow opening. I do not at any time want to find myself directly between the horse and that post. So I'm going to come through a little bit ahead of him. I'm leaving myself plenty of rope. In case he takes off, I'm out of the way. We're safely through. Whoa, good boy. It's really important to keep in mind that horses will always go back to their safe place. So you and I may know that that barn or that pen or that paddock is about to be engulfed in flames, but the horse doesn't. They see that as their home. And unless you close the gate or the barn behind you, those horses, when turned loose or not, will pull out of your hand and try to get back into the barn. More animals are lost after they have been safely evacuated because they ran back into the barn or the pen than in many other situations. So catch the horse, make sure that you maintain enough space between you and that animal to exit the gateway or the doorway safely, lead them a safe distance away, and make sure that you or the person on safety closes that gate or door behind you. You may be in a situation where you have to capture some loose livestock or equines and get them from an open place into a more confined place. You need to get them out of the crowd, away from the crowd, and into a safer location. You might need to lead them out of a burning building or out of an area where flood is approaching. And you may not be fortunate enough in that situation to have access to commercial halters. But what you will have access to, especially if you're a firefighter or search and rescue, you will have this or you will have this, probably both. So piece of rope about 15 feet long, piece of 1-inch webbing about 15 feet long. Either of these are going to be your best friend and work just fine. I'm going to show you how to make an emergency halter, and right now I'm going to choose the rope. So, got to start out with a piece about 15 feet long if you can. If you don't have that long a piece, but you have a short piece of rope and a piece of webbing or 2 short pieces of rope, you can actually make the halter out of your shorter piece, and then I will show you how to make a lead rope out of another piece of material. But first, the halter. So you start out with your rope, prepare a loop. The type of knot doesn't really matter. You want a loop that's about the size of your fist. Going to approach the horse. Oh boy, easy, easy. Get that loop over its neck. Reach through, make a bite, slide the bite over his nose, snug it up, get this part back behind his ears, get this part up on the bridge of his nose. You're ready to go. You're not going to tie a horse up. You're not going to lead him too far with this setup. But the beauty of this is that you have control, but if things get out of control quickly, you just let go and it's going to fall off. You're safe, the horse is safe, you start all over again. Got a knot and a loop. Get that rope over his neck, pick it up, make a bite. Bite goes over his nose, snug it up, bring this back behind his ears, and go. Now, if you need to go a little bit further, or you feel the need to make this more secure, you can by adding a knot. And now this halter is much more secure, but the danger here is that if you have to let go, this animal is now trapped, and this can become a real hazard for him. So if you must, if you're leading multiple animals, if you have to go a further distance, this might be the way to go, especially if you have helpers who are there to catch a horse in case it gets loose. But most of the time, this is all you need, and this is all you want. So you got a horse and you got a halter, but you have no way to lead it. And that's often the case. Maybe the horse is loose because it has broken loose from the place in which it was tied. This happens commonly around rodeo grounds, fairs, horse shows, public assembly places where you've got people in equines. Or you might have a fire flood situation and the horse is afraid, it's gotten loose, it's stepped on his rope. For any one of a number of reasons, you may encounter a horse with a halter, but no lead rope or not enough lead. So again, what do? If you have 1-inch webbing or you have some rope available, you can make a really quick and very secure emergency lead rope, and I'm going to show you how. So I really like the 1-inch webbing for this. It's strong, it's soft, and it's really maneuverable. So again, I'm going to start out with a piece at least 12 to 15 feet long. This is a standard 20-foot length. I'm going to feed the tail through the loop on the halter. If the loop is broken or it's not there, I'm just going to feed it through this lower part, the place where the noseband connects to this throat latch, okay? So feed it through. Give yourself a tail that's probably about 2 feet long. And now you're going to make a minimum of 3 and no more than 5 wraps. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. Take a bite. Slide it through this loop. Snug it up. Quick release. If anything goes wrong, I pull on it and either let it go or I pull it back. So I'm going to do that one more time. Feed it through. Got about 1.5 to 2 feet. I'm just going to go 3 wraps. Take a bite. Slip it through this loop, which is where the webbing has attached to the halter. Bring it through. Snug it up. Good to go. Now, what if I made my rope halter, but I didn't have enough rope to create the lead rope? If I have a piece of webbing or another piece of rope, I can use this very same knot to tie these two together, and now I have an emergency halter and an emergency lead rope, and I've got plenty of rope to lead that horse and myself into safety. And that's how you do it.